Hello, everybody. It's Jeff Thurman from Home Renovation. Today's live show, we are dealing with bathrooms. Not just like ripping them apart, but how to plan and renovate. There's a lot of organization, a lot of questions that need to be answered. How much money do we spend, right? What's the return on the investment? How do I decide whether to go deep dive and rip it all out? Or can I just get away with like remodel, right? That's where the word re comes from. Remodel is the re and re. So we're going to go through all of that. First of all, Happy New Year. Welcome to all of our new members. Boom. There's a bunch of you that joined even today. That's amazing. Membership is the driving force behind this channel. Instead of me sitting here selling you frozen food or websites, we have membership. So let's just say cheers, everybody. Here's all the new memberships. Mas Milano. And then we've got Richard Parker is joined today. We got Lena. Thanks, Lena. Good to see you. Zagan. Wow. That's a lot of word. I didn't get that right, but that's okay. I don't get everybody's name right all the time. Bradley Neese is in the house. He's actually in the chat. So cheers, Bradley. Glad to have you with us. And then we've also got Sadie Park. And there's one more member who joined just a few minutes ago, Betsy Reynolds. Cheers, guys. Thanks for joining the membership. Thanks for your vote of confidence. And today we're going to give you a little deep dive into the simplicity, the basics of organizing. Hello to everybody in the chat. Great to have you all with us, okay? Let's just dive into this first of all. Got a presentation today. Cost versus ROI is the first thing we're going to talk about. And then we're going to talk about the process, right? And if you're from the Americans, then you might be calling it process. I call it a process. We've got the selections. That's a big issue, okay? Because there's a lot going into what style do you pick? A lot of things to talk about there. Most people make their mistakes on their bathroom remodel and renovations with the selections, okay? And so we're going to take a few minutes to go through a lot of those different options because there's options for remodeling, there's options for renovating, and you can't just intermix them. And nobody tells you this, but we're going to go into that now. And then what percent of the project can you DIY? And this is a different answer for everybody, but I've got a little graph, little chart here that's going to show you what percent of the project, basically speaking, for every different step of the construction phase. And then we're going to give you some insight as to where can you plug in some professionals to guarantee a great result. If you're new to the DIY community, you don't have all the tools, all the experience. All right. So let's just dive in first. Cost versus ROI. Here's the rule. You're doing a main bath in your house. Okay. If you're doing a remodel, max 10% of the value of your home. Now, when I give these numbers, I'm talking about a 3-bed, 2-bath home, okay? Not a 7-bed, 6-bath home. Different rules for that kind of craziness. But if you have a $3 million home, you're probably not ripping out your bathroom and doing another project. Main bath, 10 to 15% on the high end, okay? High end. Now, the reason we can go that high on a bathroom is ensuite bathrooms, when they're done right, will sell the house. Real estate agent takes you on the tour. If everything else is lickety-boo, great. But when you hit that master bath as the last thing you see, heaven's open and the lady of the house is going to be like, I'm buying this one. And you can just, no conversation. The second bathroom, if it's a full bath, go between 5 and 10. Half bathrooms, treat them like a closet. All right, get the cheapest stuff you can. They're there so people that are guests in your home can sit down, do their business, wash their hands and leave. Right? It's a $500 bathroom. Don't even talk about it. Return investment. Quick skill testing question. This is going to be an interactive show. Just curious, what percent on a return on investment, if you were to hire the whole project out in 2024, do you think you're going to get on your main bath? All right. So we're going to do a, for instance here. Let's say your house is worth, well, let's go high end or low-end Canada, high-end Americans, low-end New York, low-end California, high-end Kentucky. It all depends where you live, right? This is why we use the percent rule. On a $500,000 home, we're looking at 10% of that is 50 grand from a main bath. It's a lot of money. You don't have to go that extreme, but you can. All right? So for $50,000, boom. What's the return on investment? I'm going to check to see if anybody's got. Alan says negative. You might be right, But the truth of it is, return on investment in today's marketplace is down to 70% if you hire a contractor. Here's why. There's not enough labor. Their prices are going up. Materials getting more expensive. And for whatever reason, people don't stop watching HGTV. And they keep on coming out with new and better and more expensive ways to do everything. It's driving up the cost, okay? No one is doing a master bath flip anymore in a $500,000 home unless they're putting in a $30,000 to $50,000 bathroom. That's just the market, okay? So as a DIYer, if your cost of your materials is only 25%, all right, that gives you a 45% return on investment above your cost that you don't get if you hire out. So if you, let's say half, okay? So you put a $50,000 bath in, you get all your money back on the material, plus another 50%. Not a bad gig. This is why I preach this. This is how we beat the system, guys. Listen, everybody needs a way to get ahead, all right? And let's face it, interest rates are crazy last year. How many people went, ooh, interest rates are way up. I'm going to put all my money into the stock market. Most people don't do that because they're like, life's expensive. I can't afford to invest. The truth is every time in history the interest rates went up, stocks went up, it's a perfect time to put your money there, but you got to have extra money. And if you don't have extra money, you're not in that game. So the only thing you got is your blood, sweat, and tears. Put it in your house, get your return on investment in your house, and make sure you're a homeowner. That's the only way to win this game nowadays, guys. Now, here's the process. Got to choose. Are you looking to refresh? Okay? That's like paint, fixtures, hardware, maybe another layer of flooring. You're looking to remodel. This means you're going to remove everything in the room except electrical and plumbing. Okay? Because in most cases, remodel means no permit. Okay? Most jurisdictions, you don't need a permit to tear everything out and rebuild it if you don't change or modify the electrical and the plumbing or the structure, obviously, right? Or you're going to do complete gut and remodel. 3 different worlds. So refresh, we don't talk about it. It's just a few $100. Remodel, this is your 5 to 10% renovation, and the rebuild is a 10 to 15. When you're rebuilding, in a lot of cases, you're using a closet or you're changing your floor plan or getting rid of a big Roman tub. Ugh. And you're making the shower bigger and you're going with a standalone, okay? So there's options, there's mechanical moving. In these cases, you got to get a permit. If you're going to change any of your plumbing or electrical, you need a permit. And that's really the only thing. Once you've got that decided, you got a budget, you can break it down from there. And now we're going to talk about how do you spend your money. All right, the selections. The first thing you got to do when you're doing your selections is you've got to sort out your tub shower combo area, okay? It's a big price point because a lot of people want that sexy walk-in shower. And there are curbless issues, there's custom glass issues, there are make your own shower and customizing it situations. We did that recently. We actually have the video for our bathroom in the trailer, our double wide trailer. I did a custom bathroom there, okay? The whole project, it's 3.5 hours or so. It's all coming out. We did the demo project, how to finish that entire project in one video. You can watch that if you're doing something really custom. There's other options. So first we got to deal with the tub shower, right? We need to know, are we going to go Schluter system? Are we going to go tile ready? Are we going to go with an acrylic or a steel tub? There's pros and cons for all these things. And after I'm done my presentation, I'm happy to take all your questions, okay? We can deal with all of this kind of stuff. All right. Number 2, we got to deal with is the tile. All right. And the reason I'm telling you, after you figure out if you're doing a tub shower, that's your main expense. Now your tile is your second main expense. Price per square foot, assemblies. Am I going with Dietra? Am I doing Dietra heat? Your floor assembly, all of those prices built in, right? Do I need the electrician? Am I going to just put it in without the electric heat and not need an electrician? Try to keep to the remodel and keep on budget. These are decisions you got to make. It's a major decision. All that square footage in a custom shower, sills, all the floor. Are you doing another wall or two? Are you going to put in accents? This is where you put your money. And so if you make these decisions in this order, you'll find out that you spend the most money at the top, and then you get easier to afford the decisions as you go along. Now, number 3, this is really key. This is the area where I find most DIYers make the biggest, most obvious mistake to professionals. And that is this, the vanity. I'm talking about the cabinet, all right? Now, in a couple of minutes, I'm going to walk over. I've got a camera in another room. I've got a couple of vanities set up. We're going to talk about the differences in them, okay? And we're going to talk about how to make that selection, all right? First, we're going to go through this whole process. And the reason you can make a mistake with vanities is because there's 2 types of vanities. There's vanity that's designed to go in a corner, okay? And there's a vanity that's designed to be a standalone piece of furniture on a long wall. And in almost every picture in marketing today, the vanity is a standalone on a wall. And 90% of them are made to be a standalone on a wall. They're trying to force everybody to rebuild your space. So yes, you can still buy one that's designed to go in a corner, has the right countertop and everything else. We'll talk about that. But realize that the TV shows are a marketing machine to increase your sale price on every decision you make. So you need to know what's available in the market and how to shop effectively so you don't have to overspend. All right? Bottom line. Now, number 4. After we get into vanity, we're going into paint. Okay? Paint is the color. It's usually 2 to 3 walls in the room. It's important. Not that it's expensive, but because it's aesthetic, you want to make sure that the paint works with the vanity cabinet and your tile, okay? That's key. Once you got your paint picked, then you go look at your toilet. All right? Now, this is a great time to look at your budget and say, hey, I got some money left. Maybe I want that heated seat. Maybe I want to go for a Toto and get myself one of those integrated flange that guaranteed never leaks, so I don't have to worry about my installation, right? I want to get a chair height. I want to have some bells and whistles. I want it to sing to me when I lift the toilet seat up. Whatever you want. That's where you blow your cash when you're done if you still have some available in your project. Always, 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 always get a soft close seat, especially when you go to sell your house. People walk around, they just flip the lid. If it slams back down, they're like, oh, this guy cuts corners. Don't be that guy. It's an extra $30. Now, the last thing, and I'm going to say this, accessories, I'm talking about towel bars, robe hooks, anything else that gets attached to the wall, the mirrors. Now listen, this one, I want you to change your approach and put it right up here. Don't think of the little things last. These things require framing in the wall before you put the drywall up. And before you get to tile, you should have framing before you drywall to make sure it's all there. What I do is I'll actually come up with my plan, I'll frame it all, and then I take a picture with my phone with the measurements written on the wall. So then when I'm all finished, I can refer to my picture and I know exactly where my framing is and the height and the size that I planned for. I don't get confused, okay? Now, here we go. For everybody else who is thinking about doing a project and you're a little bit worked up over, I don't think I've got the skills, I'm going to hire some, but I want to do some myself to keep my price down because that'll make it affordable, guarantee a return on investment. Let's talk about this. Here's all the different stages of a bathroom project, basically, okay? We're going to knock it down pretty simple, and then we'll take questions, all right? Number 1 is the demo. Now, demo is about 15% of the whole project. During the demo, you find out, well, you get rid of everything back to what we would call minimum code, subfloor only, studs and subfloor, okay? That's the job. Remove and clean up. That's about 15% of the work. And during that time, you're going to identify problems and correct problems, okay? And then we get into the framing. There it is. Framing is only 5% in a bathroom. Usually you might have a rotten joist, right? Or you got to add some blocking, a little bit of stud work, something to receive your shower door kit. So you have your plan because you've already picked your tub and shower. Now you know where you need your lumber so you can mount those brackets, right? Do a little bit of that. The plumbing comes along. You're looking at around 10% of the project. You can hire a plumber to do the rough plumbing or the rough and the finish. It's up to you. because there's a permit inspection for rough plumbing and there's a permit inspection for when you're finished. And all they do for the finish is they turn the water on, make sure water comes out, make sure it's hot and cold, and that there's no water coming through the ceiling downstairs. That's about it. Electrical, you're running about 5% for most bathrooms. And it can be a little bit more if you're going to add the heated flooring. But if you're going to change lights, add some other stuff, maybe update the fan, it's a minor thing. But if you want it done right, you can hire an electrician. And in Ontario, where I live, we actually have standards for electricians. And if they have a higher qualification as far as their ESA loves them standard, their gold standard, okay? Only inspect 1 out of 10 jobs. So if something small residential, they can make a phone call at 10 o'clock in the morning and know that they've passed, no inspector shows up. Really great, efficient way to keep the project moving along. Drywall, here's a great DIY. Drywall closing up is 10%. Tile set, now here, bathroom, 25%. Yeah, tile setters love me when I say this, but the truth is, your tile set guy should be doing all your waterproofing and laying all the tile and doing all the grouting, all right? And he should be warranting his work. Now, we're going to get on here to paint. That's about another 5%. Okay, carpentry and installing your mirrors and your light plates and everything else. All right, yeah, we're looking at about another 5%, give or take. And then all tallies up to about 80% of the project. And number 9 and number 10, these are the ones that you need to know about. 9 and 10 are what we call profit and project management. 20%. Okay. Now, if you're doing a bathroom project that's $30,000, $6,000 is just to sign a contract with somebody to send someone out once a week to manage the job. And at once a week, they're not going to do a good job. You're going to be mad because you're going to have to manage the project anyway. So here's the deal. If you were to take the plumbing and the electrical and the tile, that's 40% of the project. Give or take. You're getting a 70% return, 20 to 25% of materials. You're pretty much breaking even. Okay? And you get 100% return on your investment right out of the gate. If you're willing to invest a few dollars in the tile, a couple of tools, when you're at the store, you're going to have a couple of options. Now, this is the Home Depot and this is a Lowe's. Okay, they're very similar. The Lowe's is obviously bigger. It's a little higher cabinet, all right? But here's the fun thing about it. These doors are designed to open up flush on a wall, okay? Both of these companies work the same way. So if you have a wall here and a wall in the back, your typical 5x7 or 5x8 bathroom, you can shove this in the corner, all right? You can put your countertop flush on the wall, all right? And your doors will actually open up. Do not buy a vanity with a drawer unless it's in the middle of the room, because the wall comes to a door usually, and there's a door casing that's 3/4 of an inch thick, and the drawer will bang into it. See that happen all the time. People buy the wrong furniture. If your plumbing is coming through the floor, you've got to buy one of these that has a solid toe kick underneath, okay? Let me just show you. This is the Home Depot version. This shelf actually comes out. So you can install your vanity cabinet and then measure actual real time where your plumbing holes need to be. You can drill it in there and then set it on top. But this right here, this toe kick, this hides all the plumbing coming through the floor. All right. And if your doors are out of kilter, I'll just do this real quick. There's 2 adjustments here. One on the back pulls the door away, okay? So it'll close. Like right now, it's not closing, okay? And you can easily fix that. And the other one adjusts the door rotational this way, all right? These are pretty handy little hinges. Now, one more thing I want you to know. If you're not handy with the tile and you don't have tile tools, get the vanity that comes with the backsplash, okay? See this? Most bathroom vanities come with a 3-hole. So if you buy the single hole faucet, you're going to have to use that big ugly plate. case, you'd actually have to put some sort of a backsplash tile because you're going to have durability issues. Okay. That's extra work and extra labor. It's also one of the last things that gets installed is the vanity. And then you're right back to doing tile and then the next day doing grout and then touching up your paint. So a lot of frustration for that clean, sexy look. But if you want it, you're going to have to pay the price. Here we go. Now that we've got all those basics addressed, we also need to know that there are differences in toilets. We did a video not too long ago, the Game of Thrones. We compared a bunch of toilets. We showed you that there are different heights of the seat. There's round, there's elongated toilets. Make sure you shop for the size of your room. When it comes to vanities, their new standards now are 19 and 24 inches deep. Okay? And they'll come 24, 30, 32, 42, 48, whatever. Don't go to the store to buy. Shop online. Go to homedepot.com. Go to lowes.com. Got hundreds of options. In the store, it's basically for guys that are like me, that are in a hurry. And we just need a bloody vanity cabinet to get the job done, right? All right. Now, remember, if you have a toilet, you can remove it and reinstall it. Just bag it and get it out of the room. It's not garbage unless it doesn't work. If it's one of those like 5-gallon tanks, for God's sake, throw it out. Okay? Don't wreck your job by putting an old toilet in a new space. Now, I think I'm good. Let me just double check. Yep, I'm done. So now we got open to questions. We got lots of time to answer some questions. Let's see what everybody's got on their mind. Eric, have you been seeing anything interesting coming through the comment section? I should mention, Eric is back in Ottawa. He's helping. Oh, there we go. I don't know. I just moved my mouse out of the way and I shut myself out of the stream. That was hilarious. All right. Sorry, guys. This is what happens when you're remote. Yeah, I'm down here in Florida and I've got my laptop here and my camera and I'm doing this thing all by myself down in this end. It is crazy. Now, here we go. We got some questions. Bought a 2,400 square foot mobile home. That is a monster, for the record. And because I'm an idiot, I'm completely renovating it. Well, so am I. So welcome to my club. What are some modernized things I can do, like heated floor, towel warmers, etc.? Lastly, and waterproofing tips. Okay, here's the deal. Two kinds of mobile homes, we'll call it. One, homes you're planning on moving, and homes that you're not. Those are the two categories, okay? If you're not planning on moving it, you can do all kinds of upgrades. This one here, I'm not planning on moving. So what I did is I actually tiled the floor in both of the bathrooms and in the office. You're not supposed to put tile in mobile homes because what if you're going to move it? But this is a very established community. And the person that buys this one is going to move to this community and live here. And so the goal here is to get 25 years. That's all. Outside of that, all kinds of upgrades are available. There's not a lot of electrical space in the panel in a lot of cases. And that's one of the biggest issues, okay? But you can have an electrician pop out, check the load on some of your systems and find out where you can pull heat from, because you can have them run the wire from like a run of plugs. It's not that big of a deal. Bring it over to the bathroom, put on your electric heat, you should be fine. So it all comes down to space in your panel when you want to make some upgrades. All right, cheers. Wow, we got a lot of questions, Eric. My goodness. All right, Zach, upstate New York, 1940s house. Bathroom has 2x8 floor joists. Do I have to worry about the weight of the tile? Yeah, there are a couple of concerns when you're dealing with 2x8. Back in the 60s and 70s, especially, we did a lot of 2x8 homes, and they used really, really small tile, and they seemed to manage the deflection. But nowadays, we're not using really tiny tile, we're using big tile. And big tile doesn't handle deflection well. So here's my suggestion. If you've got an old house with 2x8 floor joists, there is an option to make it stronger, and that is to remove your subfloor, and laminate a piece of 1/2 or 3/4 inch plywood, glue and screw on all your joists so that they're more rigid and they don't deflect. And then you can tile over top. Generally speaking, tile on 2x8s has always been a disaster, and it's just don't recommend it. Okay, so you want to laminate and create more of an engineered beam before you put your tile on there. All right, good luck with that. Okay, let's see where we are here. Joe K, I have about a 5-inch gap between the side of the vanity and the wall. Any ideas on what I can do with the space? 5-inch gap between the side of the vanity and the wall. Okay. So here's that vanity question, right? If you got 5 inches, that's fine, because the vanity was probably designed to be a piece of furniture. And have you ever seen the vanities? They've got some ornate angles and wood turn kind of legs. And even if you push it up against the wall, it doesn't close off the gap. That's the kind of furniture you want to have off the wall. Now, if the wall isn't square or close enough that you can silicone it, you want to have that 4-inch rule that I call it, for you can get in there with a vacuum. If you want to go right into the corner, then you want to take a look at 2 options. One is you buy a vanity that's big enough that it fills that space if it's square enough, or 2, you buy a vanity and then you buy one that does not have a top with it, and you buy a custom top. You get a granite or a quartz top, and with those, even if it's out of square, you can cut the drywall away and slide the top into the drywall to close up the gap. And it's a great way to cheat. And then you can drill the hole for the faucet. So these things are all possible. You can customize the space that way. So you can take a vanity, add a filler strip so you can work with the doors and drawers. You can cut into drywall and slide a countertop in. Little modifications, but you take it one step at a time. In that environment, you want to install the vanity, and then you call your granite guy out to do the measurement, realizing that he's going to either cut the granite to fit, he'll have a laser machine, he can measure the odd shape, or he'll just give it to you straight up square, and you cut the drywall to do the install. All right, cheers. Here we go. Rick, got a 79 California home. How difficult is it to move the shower vent pipe? Want to enlarge the shower by pushing valve wall out by 14 inch. Okay, vent pipes are relatively easy to move. The only thing you gotta do is make sure that from wherever that vent pipe enters your stack or your waste, that's where you move it from. You don't relocate that location, or you're going to open up a whole world of hurt for your plumbing code issues. Okay, so if you have a pipe and your vent comes off and then it goes up, and you want to relocate it, you can extend it as far as you want. You can reroute it back around across the ceiling above your head, and then go catch up to the old one. Doesn't matter. A vent can travel 1,000 feet. It makes no difference as long as it connects to fresh air. All right. So as long as it connects to fresh air and it can't hold water, you're fine. If you do something where if water gets in and then it leaks in and it would fill up, that would be bad. You would fail your inspection. That's basically the parameters. So good luck with that, man. All right. Oh, okay. Here we go. Jason Pereira. Hey, cheers, Jason. Jason's one of our members. He's in the comment section all the time in our members forum. He's doing a house in Toronto. The City of Toronto waste charges a lot to dispose of demo-like concrete, old tile, hardwood, etc. Can you recommend any good companies or better ways to get rid of old products, or is the city the best? That's really interesting. I've done a lot of different things in my life. I've done waste management bags where they'll bring a little mini bag bin, right? And you leave it in the front corner of the yard and you fill it in with all your stuff. And they don't charge by weight, they charge by bag. So but it's a flat rate and you're paying the high end. Okay, so you buy the bag for 40 bucks. It's like $250, $300 for the disposal, but it can sit there as long as you like. The downside to that is it is a bag of construction debris on your property, and you are liable if somebody decides to rifle through it and cut themselves open on your tile. So God help us. You can get a bin, like a roll-off bin delivered to your driveway. There's a few different sizes of that. And generally those bins are all pay for the drop off. You get a week, they pick it up and they charge you weight. So at the end of the day, if you want a great deal on doing your demolition, the answer is there is none to be had. Just 3 years ago, we could get a bin for 2 weeks. Now they're down to one, and they charge you $20 a day. The entire industry overnight, everybody in the business did the same thing. There's no collusion, of course. No. They didn't just have Christmas dinner and say, what do you say we screw everybody next year and charge $20 a day after a week? That didn't happen. Anyway, that's the deal. So it is what it is. It's part of the cost of doing business, and that's okay. Because if you're doing it yourself, you're going to make money no matter what. Brenda wants to know, instead of wax, I bought a one-and-done premium flange repair with seal, caps, and bolts. I'm going to use tape on the floor to help align the toilet, but how will I know if it is aligned right? Generally speaking, a toilet has 2 holes in it that sit down on the bolts, and the bolts have a little plastic ring that you can actually compress into that hold them straight up. So what you do is you hold the toilet and you hover over top, and you can look and you can see the top of the bolt sticking through the hole before you make contact with your wax. And once you see both bolts sticking through, then you can push straight down, okay? Now, instead of whatever it is that you were using there, I grabbed this. This is what I'm using. I extended my floor. I added floor leveler, I added Detra, I added tile. I needed to raise my flange. And so this is a twist and seal. What this does is it goes inside the old pipe. And all you do is you turn it, and the gasket keeps riding further and further up until it guarantees that seal lock, and you can't twist anymore. And then you got a perfect fit. And you can see that there's a lot of locations to set those bolts. This is a great solution. All right. Twist and seal, available at Home Depot. All right. Vandal's got a 1980 house in Georgia looking to remodel the original upstairs bath. Great. Opinion on best type of flooring for a wet bathroom versus dry bathroom. Here's the thing. If you've got kids, right, or it gets a lot of use, any floor that's tile, you got to contend with the fact you got to manage water. You're going to have water going out of the bathroom on the tile where the tub, the shower pan is. There's a silicone seal that can fail over time. You can use Detra. You can use the Curdy tape on the joints. You can even use the Curdy tape up on the wall all around the perimeter. You can create a waterproof environment. But at the end of the day, if you're getting a lot of water and you're expecting a lot of wear, I recommend adding the Detra Heat warming pad, because electricity dries out underneath the floor, and it guarantees that you don't get leaks. If you don't have a heating system in your tile, all these custom shower systems that are thin set based, they all fail with a lot of use, okay? So if it's one bathroom and it's a lot of use, get an electric heating system in there. It doesn't have to be so you can set the place on fire, just a warming mat, okay? A little bit of heat goes a long way with drying whatever comes through. Make sure after you're done grouting, if you didn't use a grout with a polymer that actually has a sealer in it, you seal your grout, because it is porous and all the water on the floor will come through and get trapped underneath your tile. All right? Cheers. Okay. Creative Life, Washington, D.C., row townhome, built 2008. That's not that long ago. Hubby wakes up every time someone takes a shower. If I insulate the wall and wrap the pipes enough to help muffle the sound, what about the tub? Oh, yeah. Here's one of the problems. We do not have anything in the building code in any of our countries for sound management. Okay? I don't know why. It should be. You'd think it's a pretty big issue. But unless he's willing to go to bed with headphones or those little twisty ear things, the only thing you can do is you can cut open the drywall. You can insulate the wall and then restate the drywall. Okay? It's a lot of work. And, you know, it would cost 10 cents and 5 seconds while they're building a house. Instead, it's going to be like 2 weekends of repair. But yes, you can definitely wrap it up. Okay? Wrap the pipes, get some mass in that wall. If it's the only project you have, you know, and you don't want to spend too much money on it, fiberglass is okay. So Safe and Sound by Roxwell in that one particular situation is actually a better product. So consider that. Okay. Good luck to you. All right. And by the way, while we're at it, everybody who has a dripping noise from their plumbing, it's 99.99% of the times when you hear dripping, you're in the basement of your house, it's because you have a shower system or toilet system that's going horizontal and then has a vertical drop through the basement. And usually it's all that water that's on a 1-degree slope, and it takes 10 or 15 minutes before all the water from a flush toilet or a shower or sink finishes emptying out, and it's dripping in the basement. So you go have a shower, you go downstairs, you think, oh my God, my shower's leaking. No, it's just the pipe dripping, and they're not insulated for sound. And so it drives you nuts thinking, my house is leaking, I'm gonna get mold, but it's not the case. All right, DIY Dave, 1994, single-story concrete slab home in Oklahoma, redoing utility room / entry to garage. Okay, space is irregularly shaped. Do I need some tips on selecting proper center line for tile? Picked a 15 by 30 tile. That's a big tile. The good news is with a 15 by 30 tile is that even if it's irregularly shaped, you can split the difference on the 2 long walls. So rule number 1, pick the most prominent thing, which is a transition. If you're going from tile to hardwood, that's the most prominent, okay? And if you're going to have anything less than 6 inches, if you start full and you're going to finish with less than 6, then start with a half tile, okay? Make it simple. Start with a half tile, drop a laser line, cut based on that laser line, and then fill the rest of the room so that you can split the difference, and you can do that in both directions. I know big tile has a lot more waste because big tile creates more waste because you're always cutting everything. But if you want it to look right, then split the difference with half tiles everywhere, because irregular shaped rooms, you'll never get a nice line to finish nice. It'll always look like a piece of pie, wedge coming off the other corner, and it'll look like hell. So start half, finish half, 2/3, 3/8, whatever it is, doesn't matter, right? It's a big enough piece of stone, it's not going to draw attention. All right. Ashley from Spokane, Washington. Cheers, Ashley. You got a 1969 home. Oh, what an era. That's the era that my father's generation would build, right? Back when men had integrity and they were careful and slow and did things right because they didn't know how to do things wrong. My God. Moldy window in the shower. Okay, installed the ceiling fan when we bought the house. Should I remove or replace the window? Also, I'm worried about renovating myself because it's the only bath. All right, here's the question. Lots of windows get moldy. There's a couple of main culprits. 1, your window is moldy because it's made of wood and it's in a wet room. 2, your window is moldy because it's in a room where there's a lot of steam and organics. And organics, I mean minute particles of hair and skin and dandruff and everything else that gets caught up in the shower cycle, floating through the air, lands on the window. You get 4 C's and you get a little condensation. Now you got rotting organics, microscopic, usually caught in the caulking joints around the window, okay? And then that actually will grow mold. If there's any mold anywhere in the house, those spores will find those organics and they'll latch on and they'll grow in that location. So if you don't have a heating register vent right by that window or enough air circulation in the room, generally you can just clean that with bleach and call it a day. You don't have to replace nothing. All right, give that a try. But if you got a wood window, you're probably looking at replacement. You can also clean that, treat the wood with a Kills mold. It's a green can now. Regular Kills is red. The mold treatment is green. Tape it off, spray the wood after you clean it, and then repaint with a bathroom 100% acrylic paint. I don't see the need for a new window. You should be fine as long as the frame is solid. All right, cheers. Here we go. Robert, Maryland, 1950s Cape Cod. Now I'm jealous, Robert. That sounds like a nice home. I'm building a new bathroom from scratch. Want to put a window in the shower. What kind of window is best? Sliding, awning. All right, Robert, it all comes down to this. Do you have a fan? If you have a fan, you don't even need to have a window that opens. Save your money. 100, 150 bucks, you can get a window that doesn't open. Now, if you love fresh air in the shower, then I'm going to suggest that a casement is probably the best. Casement is a window that is on a hinge and you crank and it opens in one direction. Okay, and when you close it up and lock it, there's usually multi-port, like 3 different places to lock. It's got multiple gaskets and seals. It's one of the quietest moving windows that you can get. It doesn't have a lot of air transfer, so it's quiet, and there's no air leakage. All right, and you can get it on 100% vinyl. You're in Maryland, so you're probably going to want a 2-pane window, and that's plenty. Low E argon gas. It's an extra $5. Don't let them sell you over the top. Okay, keep it nice and simple. All right. A basic window from 1985 is just as good as anything today. So don't overspend on windows just because you can. Rick, follow up from forum question. Getting ready to texture our bathroom drywall. Will the knockdown hide tool marks, shallow divots? Should I smooth everything first? Yes, it'll hide divots, but it won't hide ridges. It'll sit on the ridge, and it'll end up translating. So make sure you sand, okay? And you'll be fine. Cheers, buddy. All righty. Joe, do towel bars really need framing or blocking behind the wall to screw it into? Drywall anchors are not sufficient. I'm glad you asked that because I'm over here in my trailer. We're just about done. Next week, I'm building a huge, is it next week or the week after? I can't remember. I'm building a huge wall out here. We're going to do a series of experiments, and one of them is about drywall anchors. Bottom line, I like to block where my towel bars go because people that are used to it get used to it, and they reach out of the shower, they grab that towel, and they just whip it like they're slapping someone in the ass, right? They have no respect for the drywall plug. So if you're not sure, then do the framing, do the blocking. It takes an extra few minutes, but guaranteed to never fail, right? Because each screw carries 80 pounds of shear strength. And then your fixtures are guaranteed to work. Why would you want to risk that over an 80-cent piece of wood and 4 screws? This just doesn't make any sense, right? Okay, done. Next. Bradley, he's a new member from today. Bradley, cheers, buddy. I got a house built in 1948, and the plumbing system is both galvanized and PVC, and my pipes are sedimentized to the point of not working. Yeah, that means you got a lot of hair and crap in there. That's good. Okay, that is a statement, not a question. Is there a follow-up to that, Eric? Or should I just talk about what I already know about with all those plumbing? Oh, the plumber just left and said I must fix the shower system before fixing the water. Okay, so here's the deal. Your plumbing is super old, all right? You're dealing with like, what, 70-something years. So what happens is the galvanized pipes, they start to rust on the inside as well. And then the inside of the pipe looks like this. They got a bunch of little bumps, right? And then every time a piece of hair goes by, it grabs it. And then something else goes by and it grabs it. And then the grease and the sludge and it turns into nothingness, right? Even if you clean that, you risk blowing the pipe apart because the only way to clean it is a high pressure hose. And the life of that pipe is already gone. Plumbing is a system that's guaranteed to fail over time. Just like electrical, just like HVAC, okay? You've got to replace these things. 50 years is a great benchmark. 70, you're pushing it. 80, you really need to give your head a shake because you're risking setting your house on fire or flooding it out or something. So what you want to do is you want to say, okay, I need to upgrade my system. Just do it, right? Anything that's less than 2 inch and smaller has to be replaced regardless. The 3-inch pipes, they're going to be fine. You can always clean those out and incorporate those. You don't have to go all the way to the street, okay? But change everything that comes out of the concrete in the basement or anything that's 2 inches smaller and just update all of it. It's worth it. It's a great investment in the home, all right? And if you do it all at one time, the plumber can get you a much better deal than multiple trips and multiple projects. Remember, most trades guys charge between $200 and $300 on their bill for making those 1 or 2 visits. Okay, so get him while he's there. You make him come back 4 times, you can spend $1,000 just having him show up. That's a waste of money. All right. I need to build a wall between a bedroom and a sunroom in a condo. I'm in Toronto, okay? Should I use metal studs or wood studs, and should I insulate? I always tell people build with the same material the house is made out of. 99% of the time in Toronto, a house is built out of wood. Don't get creative. And yes, you should insulate. Anytime you have 2 rooms meeting together, now your sunroom, I don't know if it's a conditioned space or did you build it and just add in-floor heating for comfort? Is it 3-season sun or 4-season sun? There's a lot of different opportunities here, right? Toronto doesn't get quite as cold as Ottawa, so you can probably get away with not insulating it. But here's the deal. Anytime we have two different kinds of level of conditioning intersecting, we always want to insulate 16 inches past. If you don't, you leave the chance for a weak spot to cause condensation in that wall where mold will grow. Okay? So that's why we do that on purpose. You don't have to insulate the whole wall, perhaps, but make sure anywhere within 16 inches of where those two systems come together, you've insulated that to eliminate the risk of condensation in your wall. All right, cheers. Hey, am I all caught up? All right, Chantel. Hey, and if you got a question and you're not a member, you might notice we're answering all the members' questions first because, well, heck, they paid for this advice. So, you know, this is what we do. We take care of our own. And if you have questions and you need one answered, then consider becoming a member. Or throw a super chat in here and we'll try to squeeze you in before the end of the show, okay? Here we go. Chantel, 1991, Montreal, second floor bathroom. Would like to put in a curbless shower, looking at recessing plywood. What's your recommendation? Okay, Chantel, if you're looking at doing it yourself, sometimes I make a video and I just can't get it out fast enough, right? So, listen, if you got a pen handy, write this down. Go on to the Home Depot website and order the tile-ready shower base, okay? It is a solid monolithic base that's pre-sloped with a built-in curb and integrated walls and tile flange, all in one. So the bottom 4 to 5 inches of your shower is guaranteed waterproof no matter what. All you got to do is set it into a little bit of thin set, all right? Wait for it to dry, and then you can add your walls. I prefer Curdy if you're new to tiling and waterproofing. And then you put the Curdy band on, and now your shower is guaranteed waterproof. You have no worries about water getting underneath your tile because everything eventually works to the drain. Guaranteed. It is absolutely the simplest, most guaranteed, safest DIY project on the market. You can get a curbless walk-in shower that way. The secret, it's not exactly curbless. There is a company from Germany that sells a shower pan that actually gets installed on the floor joist. You're going to have to check out, where are you from? What part of the country are you from again? Was it Canada? Chantel? Rick, was Chantel? She's from Montreal. Okay, go contact ProSol. There'll be a ProSol, P-R-O-S-O-L. There'll be a dealer in your city. See if they carry the German engineered shower pan that actually sits on the floor joist. And then you just use a waterproofing tape over your subfloor system into your shower pan, okay? That's the only system I'm aware of that'll actually be DIY friendly. Otherwise, yeah, you've got to do a lot of work, right? Like, it's not easy to go curbless shower. The only other curbless shower that you can do is, if you have a setup, is you can have your floor tile head into your shower, and wherever the threshold into the shower is, that can be the beginning of a Schluter single slope shower. So you can put the drain, linear drain, wall to wall or wall to the door, whatever it is. You can start there and then have it slope up into the shower. So when you shower, all the water heads to the drain right at the entrance. That's the only other way to do it. Anyway, sorry, I got carried away with how wonderful the tile ready was. Didn't answer your question right. Max, my joists are 2 by 9 1/8. That's 2 by 10, Max. It's never exactly the right size, and that's okay. I'm not sure if it's considered 2 by 9. Yeah, it's 2 by 10. All of the tiling, I lost Max's question. Sorry, dude. All of the tiling and floor leveling recommendations are based on the joist size. Okay, yeah, Max, that's a great point. Guys, as homeowners, understand that dimensional lumber has not changed its nomenclature, shall we call it, like 2 by 8, 2 by 10, ½ inch, 5/8, all these things, or 2 by 4s. All of this information over time, the frame, the term hasn't changed, but the size has. All of these terms are based on before we used to plane them. So 50, 60 years ago, 2 by 4 was actually 2 inches by 4 inches. Now, because it's in a retail store, we plane them to make them pretty, and the dimensions are smaller. So when we say 2x4 in a code book, they actually mean a 1.5 by 3.5. And that sounds crazy and stupid, but it's okay. You have two options for floor joists, 2x8 or 2x10. If it's bigger than 2x8, it's automatically a 2x10. And you can follow all of the manufacturer's recommendations based on that information, not the actual size. It's the dimensional size before planing they're referring to. Hopefully that helps clear that up. I get confused just thinking about it. My God. Oh, hey, Home Rapid Repair. Cheers for the love. Jess, what is the most obvious difference you notice when renovating in USA versus Canada? That's not a fair question for me yet. I'll be honest with you, because I'm renovating a double wide trailer, and I don't think that's fair. Now, I'm in the South, and one of the reasons I'm here is because they are using different building technology, right? And I'm hoping to come back and tackle a slab on grade home just to increase my understanding. But almost everything is the same in Florida as it is in Ontario. The only difference is I would say the plumbing system. I've never worked with the PVC or the CPVC before. So that's new, right? But outside of that, everything else is pretty much the same. And other than the fact that because it's in the South, the air conditioning system is in the attic space of the roof, not working through your central heating system. But other than that, it's all pretty much exactly the same. Really quite interchangeable. Here's, buddy. Just had an estimate for a reno of a second home, 5x8 bathroom, and millions of those around. 13,500. Is that the right realm? Okay. Loves to play poker. Let's go back to the demonstration here. What's the right realm? Selection. Let's go to this one. Yeah. What's your house worth? Okay. How aggressive of the renovation are you doing? Are you going right back to the studs, or are you doing just removing? Are you changing any mechanical? Or are you just going to remove the old tile shower walls, maybe the old drywall, new flooring, and then rebuild from there, not changing electrical and plumbing? Then you're in the second bath category, high end of 10%. So take your home value, take 10% of that, and see if that price fits. If it's too high, then maybe they're quoting you for a full renovation and they're not giving you one. Get another quote. Use this information, guys. Okay? If you got a price, check. Am I changing mechanical? No. Am I relocating anything? No. Then go with the second bath figure, 5 to 10% tops. If you're making major changes, then you can push your budget to 15% of the value of your home. And where you live matters, because building materials don't change price. So the same materials available for people with a $100,000 home to the $500,000 home. Once you get over $500,000, you have a lot more options in materials. But generally speaking, that's the rule. All right. Here we go. All right. There we go. And welcome to Chris, new member, just joined. Cheers, man. Chris is adding a bathroom to the basement, and there's no rough in for the plumbing. Could I use a side flush toilet to minimize digging out of the concrete? Okay. Yeah. For the most part, we can do that. And what he's talking about is like a Santa Flow system. I think there's a Liberty system down in the States as well. So let's just take a look at, we have a house. Okay. And up here, we got a bathroom and we got a toilet. All right. And over here, we got the shower and we got a vanity. And there's a pipe coming from the basement right through to the roof. Okay. Letting out all the sewer gas. You want to build a bathroom down here. So you need a toilet, right? And you need a vanity. And then you want a shower as well. You're going to be sharing that same pipe. Here's where you run into problems. The drain underneath your slab is going to be a 4-inch pipe. No problem, can carry anything, okay? The vent to here is probably a 3-inch, and then from this point, it tees off, and it might continue to be a 3-inch, and as long as it's a 3-inch right through to the ceiling, you're okay. But some builders cheat, and they cut this and go to 2-inch if they don't do a rough-in plumbing down here. All right? Now here's where this gets into really tricky. The toilet uses a 3-inch pipe. The vanity uses a 1.5. The shower uses a 2. When you add that together, 2 plus 3 is 5, is 6.5 points. All right? You do that twice, you got another 6.5 points. Now, a 1.5-inch vent carries 10 points. So if they cheat and they don't bring that 3 all the way through to the roof, you've only got 10 points. And we use the diameter of the pipe as a venting requirement. So it satisfies this. You could add a laundry, which is another 2. That only goes 8.5. And if the laundry is next door and it's on the same system, then you're really in trouble. But if they left it as a 3, then yes, now you're fine. You're well under the requirements for venting, so don't worry about it. But you need to identify what your vent pipe is. Does it stay consistent or not? If they reduce it, you got to open it up and continue it as a 3-inch all the way through to the roof. All right, and yes, then you can do that, because then you can use the side pipe, connect your shower. You can get a shower base from SaniFlow that has a side release, goes into here. You have your ejector pump, okay? And then your vanity can even pump into here, and it can all go into the clean out. Just make sure when you extend your clean out, you extend the access cap so that your pipe goes in and you can open this up for service, okay? There we go. Cheers. That was a lot, but hey. Crashly Dobler. Hey, cheers. Thanks for the super chat. Spokane, Washington, 1969 home. And you are a member and you didn't need to do that. But thank you, darling. I'm nervous about renovating our only bathroom myself. I have 3 boys. Any tips, words of encouragement to proceed anyway? Yes, here we go. Ashley, get yourself a gym membership. All right. You're in Spokane, Washington. Wait until the springtime or early summer. Set up the garden hose outside so they can shower in the backyard. Boys are resilient as hell, and they'll be fine with that. All right. You give them an opportunity to shower outside, throw down a few 2x2 patio stones and make an outdoor shower for them with a garden hose. They're going to be over the moon. You can buy fittings at Home Depot to go from garden hose to shower pipe. You can hook it up yourself. Have some fun. It'll be a memory they'll never forget. And you can save yourself a whole lot of stress about having that available. You can also rent a porta potty and put it in your driveway if you need to. Okay. I know it could be a lot of stress to do a big project, because what if it goes wrong? But if you have a gym membership, then you have all the time in the world to take care of yourself. And boys are boys. If they're reduced to once or twice a week on a shower schedule while mom's renovating, I'm sure they'll deal with it. Anyway, if they're old enough that it bothers them, they can take their own butt to the gym and take care of their own self. All right. Cheers, Ashley. Love it. Great question. Okay. Stephen wants to know, I'm doing some renovating and I want to make sure it is all up to code, but struggle to find specific codes for my area, Montana, such as minimum distance for an outlet from water. Any suggestions? Yeah. Contact your local building office with questions like that, because they'll know. Where we're from, we use a 3-foot rule. Okay. If you're not sure, you can just put everything in the bathroom on a GFCI outlet. So you can have the power come to your plug, make it a GFCI outlet, and then have the lead come off of that and go to your light switch, so that everything in that room is covered by that ground fault circuit interrupter. You can't possibly electrocute yourself, and then you're guaranteed to be right. The thing about doing renovations on your own, guys, is when you get into mechanical work, generally permits are required so that you don't make these mistakes and put people's lives at risk. So if you're not going to get a permit, go over the top and be extra careful. I don't recommend it, but you're going to do it anyway. So run everything through the GFCI first, and you will be just fine. All right? Cheers. All right. Wesley. Hello, quick question. Have you ever embedded a radiant heat map within your floor leveler? Yeah, definitely. I did a project. We did not have a Schluter system. What we had was, we had a regular floor. We had a coil mat system, and it had little wheels we screwed to the ground, ran our coil, and then we poured floor level over the whole thing, because we were doing a very intricate tile design. And in order to do that design, we had to level the entire floor. So yes, and it works. Floor leveler is definitely conducive with up to 1.5 inches. Floor heat is conducive with 1.5 inches of floor leveler. So do not be concerned about that. If you need it, use it. And it's a great metering system. Makes the whole floor exactly the same temperature. So that's the other benefit, right? You don't have oh, there's the cable, and oh, there's the cold space. You don't have that issue when you use that. Cheers, man. Okay. Oh, we are at an hour. Oh my God, but I got to count. What do we got? Like, this is like soccer. We got 3 minutes of lost time. I got to add to the clock. Let's just do a couple more questions. I'm renovating a garden tub and making an ADA compliant curbless shower. Obviously, I need to waterproof the entire floor. Can I use membrane for the floor and red guard the walls? Yes, as long as your membrane also comes up. You want to make sure you get at least that 3 inches on the wall with your membrane continuous. Use the inside corners as well, and then you're going to be just fine with it. The other thing with ADA compliant showers, I always prefer to use plywood, okay, in those showers instead of drywall, because then you can actually have customized installation of bars. All right. And that's important because they have professionals that come out, and depending on the needs of the individual, you can customize locations for grab bars and supports everywhere. So plywood in the shower instead of drywall or curdy board or whatever else gives you the flexibility. That becomes a structural component. You can screw these things anywhere exactly to their specifications. Use that. That'll help. All righty. Can you use herringbone pattern with LVP? You can if you have glue down LVP. The tongue and groove patterns, generally speaking, aren't compliant for that. But there's 2 kinds of LVP. There's the click lock, and then there's the glue down, which do not have a locking joint. So if you set yourself up for success with your LVP pattern and you have a nice flat concrete floor and you want it, great. If you don't have a flat floor and you want it, pour a floor leveler, and then you can just lay it, butt it up next to each other, use an adhesive, trowel it on with a very small trowel. Read the product specs. It'll give you the information for the installation as well. And yes, you can do that. All right. Fish Landing. Hey, Jeff. Renewed member here. 1956 tub shower bathroom on slab. Want to change to curbless shower. Do I tear out concrete or grind down? It all depends. And welcome back to membership. Now, listen, if you want to go curbless, the fascination with curbless, guys, stems from HGTV. You know this. They're forcing people with $300,000 to $500,000 homes to treat them like they're millionaires. It's not necessary. But if you use a Schluter curb system, the linear drain, I'll explain to you this way. Let me draw this. All right. I'm going to go from here and up. Let's say this is your bathroom. Okay. And this was your tub. And you want a curbless shower. You've got an option to put in a 5-foot linear drain, okay, because this is all flat. And then you can put a piece of glass in front of it as a panel, shower head here, and then you can have it, your choice to have a door here or not, okay? But the point is this, all the water from here goes to the drain and then doesn't enter the rest of the room. So this is all one level, okay? You install your drain, and then the Curdy system ramps up to the back of the shower. Does that make sense? That is an option. You can completely customize your purchase. Now, you can even make this a half wall and then put a glass panel on top. So you can, I can't draw underneath. It's going to go off camera. If this is your dimensions, you can build a half wall, solid glass panel, hinge, 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 glass door, Curdy drain. That's all it is. Okay? But if you're going to do it, my recommendation, depending on how much use it's going to get, make sure you get that electric floor heat in there. I'm telling you right now, I mean, I'm a big fan of Schluter. But my recommendation for Schluter products is the following. If you're going to use it and you're going to get more than 1 shower a day and you're not going to put the fan on a timer for 20 to 30 minutes after the shower, okay, you run the risk, if you aren't using sealer in your grout properly, of getting moisture trapped down there. Over time, it'll overwhelm the thin set no matter what the claim. There's too much evidence on the internet now for that. It's a great product. Add the heat, guarantee yourself no leaks. Next. And then there'll be the last question. George gets it. I use the Platon plus Advantech subfloor in my basement. Wow. Okay. Can I use Detra and tile over that? Yeah, damn, dude. Advantech, you can tile over anything. That stuff is already 1.25 inches thick. You've already met the subfloor requirement all by itself. So if you've TAPCon that, even 8 TAPCons a sheet, yeah, you're going to be more than solid. You know that. Feel free. Use the Detra and tile over top of that. No doubt about it. Okay, that is one hell of an upgraded scenario. Well, listen, let me just plug a couple of things here while I'm thinking about it. For all of the members out there, January the 13th, 2 o'clock. Let's throw that on here. I forgot to plug this earlier, but hey, I just get carried away answering questions. We're going to dedicate 2, maybe 3 hours. Nothing but answering questions, nothing but members. If you're not a member, you can't see this. You'll never see this. It will as if it never happened. Okay? If you need help and you want help, $5 a month. I can save you thousands of dollars of mistakes, thousands of dollars of stress, thousands of dollars of headaches, and thousands of dollars in your product purchases. Not a bad gig. I'm just in the business of helping people. I have the best job in the world, guys. I make a living helping people. And I renovate a little bit on the side so I can make some demonstration videos. But it's all really comes down to this. Be a member. Join the best DIY community on the entire planet. All right? Get to know each other, help each other out, be there to support each other. Come with your questions. All right? Every time you ask a question I've never answered before, it's another opportunity for us to share wisdom with somebody else who needs that information. Let's just help each other out. Bottom line, the world's getting crazy. And if you're not a homeowner in the next few years, you're going to have to make a decision. You're either going to rob banks or you're going to go below the line of the standard of living that you want to be comfortable with. Home ownership is the key. Forget what all these internet morons are saying about just rent, never own a house. They're idiots. They want you to believe that because they want to own all the houses in America and then be the guy renting it to you. They want to have 1,000 doors. It's because they want you broke and they want to be taking all that profit margin for themselves. So buy a house, learn how to fix it up, increase your value, get that return on investment, make yourself useful, make yourself independent. You could do this 3-4 times in your life, renovate an entire home. You can make $1 million on the side part-time in asset value that never gets taxed. Join the revolution. Cheers. Until next time.